The coat was already on the chair when the neighbors noticed he hadn't moved it in 3 days. It was a brown coat, wool, with one button missing from the collar. He had worn it every winter for as long as anyone on the block could remember, and now it was just sitting there in the window of the ground-floor apartment like something he had set down and forgotten. Nobody knocked right away. That was the kind of block it was, and he was the kind of man who didn't invite knocking. His name was not remarkable. His life, as far as anyone could tell, was not remarkable either. He ate at the same diner on Tuesdays and Thursdays, ordered the same thing, tipped $1 regardless of the bill. He bought his groceries in small quantities, as if he couldn't be sure there would be enough money the next time. He patched things instead of replacing them. His shoes were resoled twice that people noticed. When the landlord raised the rent, he negotiated in a quiet, careful way, the way a man negotiates when every dollar is accounted for and none of them are spare. He had lived in that apartment for decades. He had no car. He had no family that anyone could identify. He was the kind of person a city produces and then forgets about. Not unhappy exactly, but situated at the far edge of everyone else's attention. When they finally did knock, there was no answer. The paramedics came, then the building manager, then, because he had no next of kin anyone could locate, the city. His apartment was small and dim, and it smelled like old paper and something faintly medicinal. There was the coat on the chair. There was a hot plate and a folding table and a single shelf of library books. There were no photographs. And then, in the course of settling what they assumed would be a modest and uncomplicated estate, someone started looking at the paperwork. What they found did not make sense at first. They checked it again. Then they brought in someone else to check it after that. He had $11 million, not hidden in the walls, not stuffed in a mattress. It was in accounts, managed quietly, accumulated over a lifetime through careful and disciplined investment. He had made ordinary wages at ordinary jobs, and he had put money away with a consistency that most people apply to nothing. He had lived on almost nothing, by choice, and watched everything else grow. $11 million. One button missing from his coat. The people who had known him, and there were not many, kept reaching for a reason, some explanation that would make this legible. Maybe he had been burned before. Maybe he didn't trust banks, except that he absolutely trusted banks. Maybe he was saving for something. But there was no something. There was no plan that anyone could find,